So, the finale to Stranger Things has released, and everybody's given their thoughts and opinions on it, so I thought I would as well. So, to narrow it down, I believe that the ending of Stranger Things Season 5 was nowhere near as bad as Volume 2 or Volume 1. I think it was a really decent way of finishing off Stranger Things. I wouldn't call it like the BoJack finale. I wouldn't call it anything insane, but I thought they did really well at it. And I'm also going to explain why, starting with my positives. Now, I think that, wait, before I do that, I just want to give you the spoiler warning now. I am going to be spoiling a lot of things, so if you don't want that, click off now. But yeah, some of the strong positives are most of the people got a really nice ending to their story, I reckon. Like how Joyce and Hopper got together, it really did feel like everyone got a good way out. Like how Dustin went up on stage, grabbed his diploma, and he ended up sticking the middle finger to the head teacher, which is exactly what Eddie said he'd do if he strolled the street. So, got his diploma. It really does feel like it came full circle in some aspects, and I do appreciate how the directors went back and looked at that. I thought it was really fun and a really good way. So yeah, I like that. And going back, it was an emotional feeling. Like I was very emotional watching it because I thought, well, obviously I have been brought up with this series. I've watched it almost not every other year, like every 3 years when it came out. And yeah, it's been great every time, and seeing it finally wrapped up, it does make you emotional. Um, Going to 11 and number 8, who were obviously got introduced last time, um, their powers were really cool, I think, in the finale. Many of them, like, but what they usually do is they end up just going like, in the fights and like pushing them away, but they use like invisible walls to like hide the children and stuff like that, and I found that really cool and like new, and it's nice they're finally exploring it, even though it's the end of the series. And Henry Creel, obviously the main villain, whatever you want to call him, one Vecna, Mr. Watson. He had a really cool backstory where we find out that like he opened this suitcase when he was a kid, grabbed this thing, and the mind flayer went in his head and kind of made him a vessel. And Will sees it too, and Will's like, "Come to the good side," and Wagner's like, "Nah." It's really cool seeing that he's given in. He's kind of accepted it. Like you don't usually see that in shows. It's always the good. But this was new, and I did appreciate that they went this way with it. Now, onto the bad side of things. It got really cringy at parts. Now, I, there was this one scene in particular that I can remember off the top of my head where they're playing D&D. Like, that's the ending. They all get to play D&D instead of going to a house party. And, like, Max was actually acting like she was reading the script in front of me. She they rolled a thing and like they're like, "Oh, we lose," and Max was like, "This is bullshit." Like it kind of got on my nerves, but I was able to like push it off. It's not much. Um, One of the other things that people have been pointing out and has actually been addressed is where are the Demogorgons? Because the fight with Henry Creel and the Mind Flayer was over in 7 minutes, and it was really lackluster. That's what everyone hated, me included. And people were wondering where the Demogorgons were, and they asked the Duffer Brothers, and they went, just hiding. Vecna didn't know they were coming, so the Demogorgons couldn't come in time. Which is, what's like, even, let's say, first, Vecna can see through Will's mind. That's already been established. If he wants to, he can see through his mind. But even if he couldn't, let's say theoretically if he couldn't, what happens if the Mind Flayer is getting actually blown up and we know these super fast creatures, the Demogorgons, can run really fast. Where are they? Why aren't they protecting? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know why they did that. It was really stupid. And that response is more like a go fuck yourself. Like I just thought it was really bad. And it also felt obviously they were too scared to kill anyone off. Like there's this one scene where Steve got pushed off this radio tower and he's falling for like a minute and like Dustin's going, no, and I did not for a second think Steve was going to die. I knew for a fact he was going to get pulled up. Like that's how easy it is to see that they're too scared to do it now. And like 11, I know people think she's dead. Oh, I don't really know. But yeah, she was the only big death in this entire series. Apart from 8, but she's from the most hated episode from like the entire show until now. Like, it just does seem like they are too scared to kill people off. Yeah, but what can you do? Um, the it all finally it did feel like they had too many unanswered questions. Like, why obviously why couldn't Vecna control why couldn't Vecna control well? Like, well, why? What even is the place where Vecna was? Like, is it similar? Like, can people live on it? Like stuff like that. It really seems like they didn't want to go too in depth with anything, and it also obviously one of the main things is they didn't show much light on everyone because there are so many characters in Stranger Things story. It felt like not everyone could get their time to shine. Like Murray, he didn't really get an ending. He just disappeared. And the Russian people, I want to know what happened with them. Why, what happened? What happened to the peanut butter smuggler? Like, I like those characters, and they never really got their thing. And like Dustin's girlfriend, where's she? She had a big part in the last season. Don't see her around no more. Like, yeah, all that just seems a bit weird. But now that the entire season came out, I want to rate it a solid 65% on season 5. I think that it was okay to watch. The finale did save it from a really low score, but I think it went well, and I'm not going to watch Tales from '85 when I'm making that. I cannot be asked. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.